we want to do things the right way, the regulated way, even though that might be the slower way, because we think in the end, that is what's going to remain, and that is what's going to succeed on the mass market. Right, that's what I meant with the European approach.
All
I hope you're
right.
not offended by that, but
No,
I
no, I
definitely would
respect that.
see.
I respect that.
I just wanted to let you know, jail's not that bad. It's
All views expressed by the hosts and guests in this podcast are solely their opinions and do not reflect the opinions of their respective employers. Guests and hosts may maintain positions in the assets discussed in this podcast. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and nothing in the podcast is intended to be financial, legal, or even life advice.
GM.
GM.
We are live.
GM.
Maybe we'll just get started with today we have Flo from Bitpanda. And also, I think that there's going to be pretty exciting product development that you will be sharing with all of us. So before we go there, if we can just take a step back, would like to ask a bit more about your background and all of that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, thanks for having me. My name's Flo, Florian, if you want, but I prefer Flo. I'm the commercial lead of Bitpanda Web3, which also includes Vision, the token, the chain, that project. I've been in investing into crypto since 2017. I've been with Bitpanda as a customer actually since 2019. And I started at Bitpanda in 2021. So it's been quite the journey, right? So I mean, for a crypto fintech, I mean, I'm basically part of the furniture already here. Bitpanda has been around for 11 years now, right? So it's also, I think, one of the real OGs in the space, especially in Europe. And yeah, I mean, Bitpanda is a European crypto broker, not a centralized exchange. A key difference is when you make a trade on Bitpanda as a customer, we are the counterparty to your trade, and then we source the liquidity from a variety of different trading venues, centralized exchanges. It has multiple benefits, right? You don't necessarily always need that direct counterparty in an order book, right, in terms of liquidity. And since we can aggregate the liquidity, we tend to also have really good prices. So, and it also very much fits into what our target audience is, right? And what the sort of the mission of Bitpanda is. And it's all about abstracting difficulty, right? It's about making the experience as simple as possible, as seamless as possible, right? So obviously then just basically kicking by and not having to worry about, hey, is there someone on the other side of this order book specifically on this trading menu who wants to sell for that price? It greatly reduces that friction, right, for users.
It's quite interesting. You went from a customer, from an OG customer into working for them. Is there like
Yeah.
so I rarely use broker other than some shitcoin options, like, because that's the only chance. But like, why? How did you start? What made you join them basically, other than just using them?
I mean, I like the product, right? Even though I'm not like the super degen guy, right? But even though I would definitely consider myself advanced in terms of crypto interest and knowledge, right?
Humble
I mean,
guy.
I've also been I've been working in the industry for 4 years as well, right? So, but I still I like things easy, right? I don't need to deal with all of the complexity all of the time, right? It's sort of the same with, like, I don't know, phone choices, right? I was a diehard Android cyanogen mod, everything like jailbroken guy for like 10 years. And then at some point I was like, actually, I don't use any of that anymore. I just want things to work. And now I have an iPhone, right? And that's sort of the experience with using Bitpanda as well, right? It's the Apple experience. Yeah, there might not be like 100 million different options for everything. Um, but it works, and it works really, really well, and it's really nice to use. And that's sort of what I prefer as well as a user. So that definitely attracted me to the company and to remain a customer. But it's also the mission, right? I mean, Bitpanda has always taken a very European approach to digital assets and to crypto in particular, right? It's all
Sorry,
about, hey, yes.
what do you mean by European? Like as you can see, there's two Asians in the room. What do you mean by European
No, like
approach?
I know what he means, but
No,
I'll let him
yeah.
expand that.
Yeah, European approach in the sense that we say, hey, we don't need to be first. We don't need to, we want to do things the right way, the regulated way, even though that might be the slower way, because we think in the end, that is what's going to remain and that is what's going to succeed on the mass market. Right, that's what I meant with the European approach.
All
I hope you're
right.
not offended by that, but
No,
I
no, I
definitely would
respect that.
see
I respect
would
that.
see
Cool,
would
man.
see Asia
Yeah.
as more of the no, we actually want to be the drivers and we want to be first
Right,
and
right.
let's fucking go. Right. I hope I don't know. I hope I can swear on
Okay.
this
No,
podcast.
you can.
So-
It's very, very
Yeah.
chill. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
before we go any
So
deeper,
that's yeah.
you mentioned you are the you do Bitpanda, and also your focus is in vision. So can you tell me a little bit more about vision and what I think the token is live, right? As VSN. Like I'd love to
Yes.
learn more about that.
Maybe I actually need to take a bit of a step back and just go from what Bitpanda does to Bitpanda Web3, and then sort of how Vision was born from that. So as I already said, right, Bitpanda is all about abstracting difficulty, bringing the normal retail customer into crypto, right? Bitpanda has over 7.5 million customers, right? So been quite successful in that journey already. And then with Bitpanda Web3, the idea is we want to bring the next millions of users on chain now, right? So the next step of that journey. And we have quite a nice product suite for that, the Bitpanda DeFi wallet, then the Vision token. We've got the Vision protocol. We've got an upcoming launch pad. And then this year, 2026 is going to be the year of Vision chain. And Vision token, it was originally merged from our two existing tokens. We had Best and Pantos. Best being the Bitpanda ecosystem token, right? So like a loyalty program, but strictly bound to the Bitpanda platform. And then Pantos, which was a multi-chain research project. And then we thought, hey, why don't we combine these two and create one bigger thing, right? And sort of on the one hand, definitely make it multi-chain, right? On the other hand, say, hey, it should be a ecosystem token, not strictly just bound to the Bitpanda platform, right? It still has platform benefits, right? You can pay your trade fees on Bitpanda with Vision, and you get a 20% discount. You will be able to vote on like in governance votes on like emissions, staking rewards, buybacks, and burns. You get access to Bitpanda Spotlight, which is like basically like a launch pool. It powers a multiplier in the engage section of our DeFi wallet, right? So our in-app questing center, right? It is powered by that token, right? So you definitely still have those utilities in the products. But the other topic is it's your ticket to participate in the success of the whole ecosystem, right? Because in all of those utilities and throughout all of those products, there is a revenue share that goes towards buybacks and burns. So it's also sort of this participation thing.
Would you say this is like the BNB of Binance, like the VSN of like Bitpanda?
I think that would be a fair comparison. I mean, I think with our upcoming chain, we are planning there will be differences there between what Binance is doing with the Binance Smart Chain, and what we are trying to do with Vision Chain. But in terms of the token and how it fits into the ecosystem, yes, definitely. So you could call it the BNB of Europe if you want, but yeah.
I can
So I
imagine
think
like
that's a
even
fair.
though that might be only like 60-70% true, most like traders or speculators would see this is like the Euro Binance coin or something like that. Would you say that?
Honestly, looking at the BNB performance, I'm not mad if people do, right?
You just take the positives, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So, what so I'm more of an on-chain guy, right? So love to like know,
Mhm.
what's Vision Chain,
What's the
different with
vision
other
of
BNB
the
chain,
vision
right? Like
chain?
the, like the BNB
Yeah,
chain is like, oh, you might get listed. There's a lot of money there. You get integrated through the Binance wallet, the Binance Alpha, etc., etc. Like what's the edge or what's the angle there for the Vision Chain?
Yeah. So for Vision Chain, the we want to bring regulated European financial institutions on chain. That is the big vision, the big picture behind it, right? Yeah, vision. See what I did there? So that's what we want to do with it, right? So it is specifically built with European regulations in mind, right? It's going to be a Ethereum layer 2. We haven't announced a roll-up stack yet, but it is coming. But it's specifically built with these regulations in mind, right? So it's all about, hey, do we want to take some other blockchain and then try to mold it to fit those regulations, or from the ground up, from like node design, sequencer design, all of that, would it
Mm.
be built with
I
uh,
see.
MiCA, DORA, PSD2, all of those beautiful acronyms in mind to fit the European regulatory landscape? And the big difference between what we are trying to achieve here, so sort of in this mantra of bringing institutions on chain, and for example, other networks out there like Canton, right, is doing a great job working more as an intra-bank settlement layer, right? The big difference is we want to do all of this, but we want to bring these institutions where the on-chain economic activity already is, right? Which is with users and with builders, right? So it should be the one European blockchain where users, builders, and institutions all come together.
In terms of the stack, does that mean like there might be some optional or optional KYC service? Because they, like most real asset right now, there are ones that you need to do KYC to join them, ones that is just you deposit through a vault, maybe because they did some weird SPV that allows them to do that, or one that just it's somehow it's a tokenized, is actually tokenized, and maybe you can do some DeFi stuff on top of it. Like what kind of directions or angle that you guys are planning for in some sort?
I don't want to get too much into the tech stuff because our tech guys will get mad at me if I sort of
It's
spill
okay,
too much
lah.
already. Yeah, but philosophically, we want to have it restricted where it needs to be to actually then fit regulated products, right? So like the chain obviously isn't regulated, right? It's a blockchain. It's just infrastructure, but the products on the chain should have it as easy as possible to be regulated. There are certain restrictions, right? So also, yeah, KYC definitely, sanction and AML screening, right? The ability to block sanction transactions, definitely. Um, but open where it should be, right? So it should still, as much as is possible, be Ethereum level openness, right? Um, I hope that explains it without going into too much detail.
I want to expand on that a bit. Maybe just to give you a bit of context flow. I my main job is that like I run a market neutral DeFi fund. So like we do looked at a lot of like these like RWA projects at like at like different chains and so on. Is it fair to say that even though I guess people might correlate Vision as like, oh, this is the exchange token of Bitpanda, right? When you say that you want to house these like regulated financial product, is it fair to say that you want to be the home of EU's like RWA products, and then you're building an L2 so that you don't have to from the ground up, like I guess build the entire consensus of like a new
Yes.
L1. At the same time, you can customize the intro points to comply with like MiCA and blah blah. Like is that how we should be thinking about this?
Yes, definitely. I think in terms of what we are trying to achieve, I think that's where I think the Binance comparison is not that accurate anymore. I think in what we are trying to achieve with Vision Chain, it's a lot closer to what Base is doing. working directly with institutions, bringing their liquidity on chain to then be used by builders and then the end users, right? And that sort of self-reinforcing flywheel of institutional assets and liquidity being used in decentralized applications, which then are used by users, which obviously then creates this network effect of, okay, then there's more demand there, so more institutional liquidity is put on chain. So I think that's but yeah, I think your comparison is accurate. Yeah.
What's like what are examples of I guess uniquely European financial products that you're like interested? Like it might not have to be on your roadmap, but just to give a bit more maybe like teaser for the audience, right? Like what kind of things that you're like hoping to like on board. It can be just like a wish list.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they're uniquely European, though, right? I think it's just making them work in Europe needs a unique solution or a
Yeah.
uniquely European solution, right? I don't
Or
think
the
the
entity
assets
DeFi and so
themselves,
on.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, the big RWA topics, right? Like tokenized credit, um, uh, real estate, tokenized securities, right? I think those are the sort of the not low-hanging fruit in terms of it's easy to achieve, but low-hanging fruit in terms of them sort of being the least creative and already out there. I think in the more institutional use cases, what's really, really interesting are tokenized bank deposits, and sort of the whole discussion of deposit token versus bank issued stablecoin. I think that's fascinating. And those are obviously more the things where I'm definitely not going to commit to them being on the roadmap, but it's things we're definitely looking into, right? With our institutional partners. And I think that in finding these institutional use cases, that's where Vision's connection to Bitpanda really pays off, right? Because Bitpanda is
Got it.
partnered not only with Societe Generale Forge, but also with Deutsche Bank, with LBBW, right? And while not all of them have been confirmed as Vision partners yet, obviously these are institutions where we at least can open the conversations, right? That's really the superpower of this being connected to Bitpanda.
So, okay, what is it like to be building in this market? Like, just as something to freshen up the palette a little bit. I feel like like personally, let's talk about personal feelings.
Honestly, right now we are pretty stable, right? We're definitely not at a price where we want to be with Vision, but I mean, for building, I think it's not the worst market, right? I think for building, everything's still fine. Obviously, it's a lot more fun when you pump every day, right? And every single thing you do also because being commercial lead, I'm also in charge of the marketing and communication, both with our existing community and externally. So obviously, that's a lot more fun when people are hyped and happy and
Right.
sort of the entire market's like, oh, where should I put my money? And not, oh my God, I gotta buy gold. So definitely it can be more fun. I think for us, it's important that you have, yes, a roadmap and a plan, but that you can basically shift the items on that depending on the market sentiment, right? I'm not a believer in, hey, we have this great finished product. Let's wait 2 years until the market comes back before we drop it. I don't want to do that. I think that's a bit pointless. But it's definitely, I think now maybe the launch pad, right? Like that is specifically something where I'm like, hey, before the chain is out, like bringing out a launch pad in this market, right? Because the chain would then allow us to do like RWA launches there, right? Which are not as affected by crypto. But if it's, just like a crypto launch pad, like there's no point in like really putting our efforts towards that at the moment. So we are
Actually,
shifting resources to more or to less market sensitive topics, and Vision Chain and especially the institutional use cases there, they don't really care what the Bitcoin price is, right? But at the end of the day, this is not really crypto, it's TradFi on chain, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think it's all about having yeah, having something to build for every market, and being able to shift resources and having the right perspective for those things.
Do you think
Makes sense.
it affects like the crypto price or the industry? Does that affect the people who want to tokenize or put their reward asset on your chain? Or is that basically all sorted out so it doesn't really matter for now anyways?
It I think it depends on the size of the players, right? I think if we're talking like medium-sized crypto players, sure, right? Because I think if the money's flowing through their hands and then sort of the house is burning, then they probably won't now start a completely new asset class. The financial institutions we are talking to, no, they're not affected by this. So yeah,
Interesting.
I think it depends.
Hey, so Marco, would you like to play the clip? So we like to we're starting this thing where we let we'll cut your clip to ask people to give impressions of it as well. Let's play the clip and see what do you think about it.
I need a second for this.
I thought you have all the controls. Shit.
No, bro. Wait a minute.
By the way, are you wearing sunglasses or are those like the those like orange glasses that help you sleep?
They are neither really. They are like optical glasses, but they have like a bit of self tint. And you know, like if even in like a light room, there's like a slight sort of pinkness to them. And you know, I think in the current market sentiment, sort of rose-colored lenses are not the worst thing to have.
Ah, okay, my bad.
Like,
Oh, we can.
Okay,
There
Perfect.
we go. So we're gonna get Flo's reaction into the clip.
Mhm.
yeah.
All right. I'll play the first one. Okay.
it's gotta be, a good chain is like, you don't even know you're using the chain. And that means, right, you're not thinking about like, I have to wait for my transaction to land. I have to wait, like, how much is my gas going to cost? Like, what do I have to bridge over to pay for gas? Do I have enough in this wallet? Like all that stuff. So, kind of the thing about a chain is like a good chain is the better it does, the more like you're kind of not aware of its existence at all. So like the ultimate would be like my grandmother could use it and is not even aware she's on a blockchain, doesn't have to know about finality or check the block explorer, like all that stuff, replacement transactions.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that something that?
Yes.
Yes.
1,000 times yes. And I would even go further. I would say not even like this is not just limited to chains, right? I think to so much tech and especially crypto tech, right, to make this mainstream, nobody cares, right? Make it easy, abstract all of it, right? The whole my mother could use it. That's my goal for our DeFi wallet. Like, don't even like, yeah, okay, just sponsor the gas. Don't even show it to me. Like, I treat an asset as an asset. I don't need to know what chain it is on. Like, I should still be able to select it. But the normal user in the normal flow doesn't need to deal with the fact that, oh, this is on Arbitrum or this is on whatever, right? Just give me the best liquidity and the best price automatically and let me treat it as an asset, right? I think the like DeFi mullet idea, right? Web 2 in the front, Web 3 in the back, right? I think that is where we need to go. Because at the end of the day, like nobody cares about, oh, this is specifically this crypto thing, right? It should just be, hey, I want this asset, or hey, this is a great product, right? And like, because with any other, like, if you're doing a bank transaction, do you care if it's like Swift or I don't know if it's SEPA or like
Yeah.
whatever
different
standard?
words.
You don't care, right? You just want to know and be sure that whatever you are trying to do is done in the ideal way possible, securely, seamlessly, and as fast as possible, right?
You know,
So yeah,
that's it.
I totally
I never
agree.
used to believe in that. Oh, but sorry, I believed in that. I believe we're far from that because I don't think a lot of builders are focusing on that. Until I set up a ETHFI card for my mother, and then it's basically like it becomes like a money app for her that she can see exactly how much she actually doesn't know it's on chain. The money's just there. She can spend it. There's like some yield component to it. They're like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I feel like we're actually getting there after my 5 years in crypto. 6 now, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean that's a great example, right? At the end of the day, yes, obviously you shouldn't hide it from people to the degree where like you're putting the wool over their eyes, right? Transparency is important, but don't make people deal with the fact that they're using crypto. They can if they want to. They can get deeper into it, and those interested will always then get a level deeper, right? And that should be possible as well. But don't force people to, don't force people to become a nerd, because otherwise your product won't become mainstream anyway.
Okay. Before we ask the last few questions in a typical podcast, do you have any question for us?
What's with the outfit? I mean,
Bro.
I love it, and
Bro.
I mean, to some degree, I hope that because okay, but is it the same outfit every week? I gotta admit, I
Yes.
haven't watched like 30 episodes yet. Okay, but so it's not specifically a panda
So let
because
me
I'm
tell you
from
the
Bitpanda.
original story of this.
Yeah, it does look like a panda. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I
it because
thought
I'm
you were
Asian?
trying to honor me.
Is it because
No,
I'm
because
Asian?
no, because I'm from Bitpanda.
No, because it's Bitpanda, bro.
You calling me looking like a panda because I'm Asian? Shit.
This guy.
But yeah, so, but like basically, I started my account in 2023. I got drunk one day. I was like, what do crypto bros like? They like Lambos, right? So I'm gonna call Lamb Bro. And then I went to search a lamb, cartoon lamb, and I just put the sunglasses on it. And then like a year ago or something, Marco was like, "Oh, let's do a podcast." We did a podcast. I'm not very comfortable. I'm not very good looking, so I have to like do all these stuff to cover up my face.
This guy's lying.
So that's why I decided to buy this thing to pretend to be my PFP.
Aw. I
That's a good-
don't
that's
believe
why
I
it's a
don't
good
believe
filter.
Cringes.
I
No,
don't
no.
believe the bad looking thing, but you could say that you're just trying to hide your identity so all of your wild takes don't get you in trouble.
But yeah, so oh my god, I'm actually getting shy. Normally I'm the one that getting edgy with people. Like I feel like I can't invite you on too much. Okay, one question we always ask all the guests. I'll let Marco do it.
What do you think is required to make it in crypto?
I think you need to have conviction. I think you need to believe in an idea, and then you need to follow through on that, right? And then obviously there's always luck, right? But I think the worst thing you can do in crypto or in investing or in whatever area is constantly pivot, right? I think it's important to have a North Star that you move towards, and then if your strategy changes, it still gets you to that North Star, right? So you're not shifting your end goal. You might be shifting your approach to reach that end goal, because you need to be dynamic in our industry. Because one day you were flying high and you've got all the money in the world because your funds are in crypto, and then the next day you're applying for McDonald's, right? That's the industry. So you need to be able to move dynamically, but still towards that same goal. And I think the more clear that goal is, the better you can then react to the market and just make a plan to get towards it.
100%. Like I believe in compound as well. Like
Yes,
like basically
absolutely.
don't pivot and compound, and something will.
Yes.
Okay, before we finish this episode, is there anything you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, I mean, we are doing an airdrop campaign in our DeFi wallet. That's actually available not fully globally, but basically all over the world. Obviously, if you're in the EU, definitely also check out Bitpanda if you haven't yet. And yeah, Vision Token, if you want to be part of our community, if you want to be part of this journey, and you share our mission of, hey, bringing regulated finance on chain, then I think the Vision Token community or X page are the perfect starting point for you.
All right.
There you go.
Thank you very much. He knows what he's
Cool.
talking about. A lot of founders are very
he's
nerdy, and
a-
he doesn't know what to share right at the end.
It's a good commercial lead. But yeah. Man, next time there's more stuff that we can do on chain, we should have you back
Mhm.
on because like we are both like DeFi power
Definitely.
users. So like once there's like something or like any projects building on your ecosystem that you want to
Mhm.
highlight, we would love to have them on. But yeah, thanks for
Absolutely.
your time
Yeah.
today.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
Thank you, sir. Cheers.
Bye bye.